In today's session, we'll see this topic classes and objects. Okay, we'll try to understand in uh, like what is the concept behind this. Okay, so let's start with an analogy. So imagine that like you have a blueprint of a house. Okay, suppose you plan to build a house, and now you have a basically a blueprint of a house. And in the blueprint basically you have defined everything, like what are the number of rooms, okay, how many doors, windows, and all this thing will be present in this house. So there will be like a lot of things. It's not like just three parameter. So and in the blueprint you have actually put all these fields. Okay, and so basically these are the details which are put in the like with the blueprint of a house. Now, if suppose this is a blueprint and now you decided that okay, like now you are using this. Suppose there are three people who are actually using this blueprint. Okay. And I'm saying that Sarosh, Manoj, Rajesh. So there are three people and they plan to use the same blueprint. And now under this, what they will do is they will take that blueprint and they will define all these factors, like how many number of rooms they want, how many number of rooms they want, how many doors will be there. And basically what is happening is, like when they are actually like creating the house from this blueprint, so then like what will happen is like they will furnish it differently. Okay, the way they will put the furniture and everything. So basically what happened, Sarosh has actually take one copy, like take the blueprint copy and build his house. Similarly, Manoj did the same thing and Rajesh did the same thing. So basically, this is something known as a blueprint. Okay. And this is something like known as like instances. Okay. So basically, Saroj is actually using that one of the blueprint, copy of the blueprint. Manoj is using the copy of blueprint. Rajesh is using the copy of blueprint. And every blueprint has some set of data. Okay. Data is like how many number of doors, how many number of windows and everything. Okay. It will be different for Saroj. It will be different for Manoj. It will be different for Rajesh. So based upon their planning. So now this thing is actually we call it as a class. And these things which actually taken the copy of this one is known as, you can say that, object. So basically in like here that Java follows object oriented programming. So in Java, so when I talk about class, so class is a blueprint for creating an objects. Blueprint for creating objects. So if you created a class, so this is just a blueprint, and using that blueprint, you can create many objects. Okay. So, and what it defines is, so basically it defines the structure and behavior of objects. Structure and behavior of objects. So basically I'll do like what is behavior here. So that is the main thing. And when I'm talking about an object, so object is just an instance of a class. Instance of a class. So you can say that like a copy of class, which is actually containing a data also. Okay, so basically whenever you are creating an object, whenever you are creating an object, okay. So basically what you are doing is when you are creating an object, basically what you are doing is you are creating an instance, of a class with its own distinct state, with its own distinct state. So I'll explain this part. We'll come back to this thing, and from there you will understand it. Now I'll tell you like how we used to do it. Okay, so I'll show you things on implementation, and from there you will understand. Now suppose if I go to Replit and if I create a REPL Java class and object. So if I create it, now let's see. Okay, so now let's do one thing. Basically here you can see that this is a class. Now I want to create a class for a car. Imagine that. Imagine I'm creating a new file whose name is car.java. Okay, because I want to put my car, well, the class name will be the same. Okay, the functionality which I'm creating. So basically here you can see that that was the main for Java, car.java. So since the file name is car, so I want to put the class name as car. Okay, so this is my class car I'm creating. So first I will define the blueprint. Okay, so remember one thing, whenever I'm talking about class, so you can see that like in a blueprint, so it has few things. So first thing you can see that like it has attributes. Okay, so if I show you, like generally in class, you need to understand one thing. There are two things basically which you use to define. Like the first thing is the attributes. Okay, what are the attributes of a car? Okay, like what is the brand, speed, and everything. The second thing is like we can also define the methods. Methods. Okay, so basically to display information and everything. But abhi ke liye just remember two things. In a class, we used to define like these two things. Okay. So right now you can see a class car. And in this class car, what I will do is I will first define the attributes of the car. So just keep aside this main function for now. I'm just keeping aside this main function. Just focus on this class car only. Okay, now attributes of the car. Now here I'm saying that there are two attributes, string brand and int speed. So there are two attributes in this car. Okay, so now let's see. So this is how I have created the attributes. This is how I created the attributes of this car. So this is actually become a, you can say that this is my class and this is the attribute of it. Now, what will happen? Here in this main function. Now, this is the main function which will execute from where the execution will start. So basically, what I need to do is inside this main function, I can create the object of this class. Okay, I can create the object of this class. So basically, as I told you, like you already know that, like here, when I was creating the object for it's something like Sarosh, Manoj, and Rajesh. So where I was like I can do it, like I can do it in main function, and they can define like their own attribute, like how many number of rooms, how many number of doors they can define. Sarosh might need different number of doors, Manoj might need different number of doors, Rajesh might need different number of doors. It depends. So similarly, I'll be creating the object in this one. Okay. So what I'll do, if you want to create an object, so let's see how we used to create an object. So first you need to use the car name. The class name basically. The class name is car. Now after that, I need to give my object name. So basically I'm saying that I want to create for Honda. Okay. Now I will write that equal to new, basically new, like when you are using new, so you already know that like it will give space, it will get space on the memory. Now after that, you just need to use car and this line. So basically what will happen when you are using this line, okay, when you are using things in this way, then what will happen? It will create an Honda object. So basically what is happening here is when you are writing this thing. So suppose imagine that like I have, like you already know that I have a car and which have a string, brand and string int speed. Now when I'm creating this object like Honda equal to new car, then automatically what will happen? Object will get created having like this object is Honda, and in this object it will be having its own brand and speed. Similarly, if I create another object, so what will happen? It will be having another brand and another speed. So suppose the another one which I'm creating is Toyota. So Toyota will be having its own brand, like the value of brand value and the value of speed. So let's see how. So now you can see that like here this is my Honda object I've created. Now I want to set this variable. I want to set the value of these variables. So what I will do is I will write Honda, and then you need to put a dot, and then you need to write brand. So basically what I'm doing is I'm setting the Honda brand value. So the brand value is Honda. Now the second thing is Honda dot speed. So the speed I'm saying that the maximum speed is going till 200. So this is like car Honda. Now the same thing, now similar thing, I'll create a car Toyota. So basically, I'm using a blueprint. Using the blueprint, I'm creating multiple cars. Okay, and now Toyota dot brand, and now the Toyota value will be Toyota dot speed equals to 180. Now you can see this thing like what is happening here is basically here what I did is here I've created the objects. Okay, so you can see that I've created two objects. So now in this one you can see that like this one is actually Honda. This is having a brand Honda. Okay, this is having speed 200. This is Toyota. This is having speed 180. So now you can see that this is Honda and Toyota. Okay, or separate object is created. Similarly, using this car template, I can create as many objects I want. Okay, and like this is something like that. So basically, that is the main thing. So So basically what happened here, we define a car class here and with having a value, like you can with having a brand and a speed, like attribute brand and speed. Okay. And we have created like these two things. Now, now what we need to do is basically we have created this objects. Okay. We have created this objects. Now, if I want to print the value, if I want to print the value of Honda and speed, if I want to print the value of basically this thing, Toyota, then how will I do it? Okay, so now you can see that like what I'm doing is here you can observe one thing. Basically, what I'm doing is here when I created this object, so using this object, I can use the attributes. I can use the attributes directly. You can see that I'm directly writing Honda.brand, Honda.speed. Otherwise, there is no way you can directly use these variables. Otherwise, there is no way you can directly use this variable. You need to create an object and then using that object, you're accessing it. Now there is another thing, like in the class, I told you that there are two things. The another thing is basically methods. Okay, we haven't created the methods here. Okay, we haven't created the methods here. So basically, whenever you are defining the attributes, so these are something actually defining the state. State basically means the values at that particular time. What is a Honda brand? Like when I'm talking about this object, so this object has a brand Honda. This brand like has a speed 200 at this point. And car Toyota, so Toyota has this brand Toyota right now, and Toyota has speed this one. Now there is another thing which I can do is with this is the basically defining methods. Okay. Now, remember one thing, using this objects, I can also access the methods. Using this objects, I can also access the methods. So if I just show you, like suppose if I'm creating a method, void display info. Okay. Now, if I just write system dot out dot println. Now you can see that here I'm not passing any kind of parameter. Okay, so this is the magic. I'll just show you. So here, if I'm writing brand, okay, here I have only written the void part. Okay, here I have like not written like no, I haven't wrote like other things. Okay, so you can also write public, that is fine. But here you can see that void display info brand, and now here I'm writing the brand thing plus brand. I'm printing the brand value plus here I'm writing speed, and then I'll put speed here. Now this is done. So you can see that like display information. Now I want to show you a magic. Now I told you like using the object, you can directly access the attribute. So this is the way how you are using the attribute. Now the another magic is using this object also. Using this object, you can also directly access the methods. Okay. Using this thing, you can directly access the methods. So here if I'm writing Honda dot display info. So in this case, what will happen? Automatically, whenever you are actually accessing this thing, when you are actually accessing, whenever you are actually accessing this method, so automatically when you will call using the object, now this method knows that, okay, what is the brand value? What is the speed value? Everything is actually already know because you are actually calling. So I told you, like if suppose there is a class and you are defining some attributes, okay, int x, int y, suppose there are some attributes, and here are some methods, method, and like method is containing like some function, void function, okay, something it is doing. So when you are creating the object of this class A equal to new A, so you can see that like this is the object of it. And now using this A, so when you have created the object, so you can say that like a whole thing is actually created for it. Like it will be having its own variable and its own method. So similarly, when you will create another object, b equal to b, new b. So if when I'm creating, so new complete, you can say that object having its own variables and method will get created. Basically, we generally used to say that like the whole you can say the object with the variable, it will get created separately. Now using this object, you can either access this using this object, either you can access directly this or you can directly access this. Okay, it's totally up to you. So you can see that like when I'm writing Honda dot display information, automatically this function method know that, okay, so who has called me, okay, who has like trying to access me, and automatically it will print the brand and speed value. So if I just show you Java car dot Java. Now let's see. Now you can see that like this Honda is actually got called. Okay, so that is the beauty with the like this object. Now here I can also call the Toyota. So Toyota dot display info. So now here if I just write Toyota and if I run it, sorry. If I run it Java car.java, let's see what will happen. Now it will print the information of Toyota also. So basically what will happen? So this is the magic of classes and objects. Yesterday, what we have learned, that was functions. Okay, that was functions. When you are not using any kind of object, when you are not using any kind of object. So guys, in the yesterday's class, I've also told you that you need to use a static. You need to use a static. Okay, and that static is very compulsory because when you are actually calling some function. But in this case, when you are using an object, then you don't need any kind of static. Okay, so that's why that is the reason why we were using static in the yesterday session. Okay, why we're using the static session, because at that time we were not creating any kind of object, we want to call that function. So for that you need to use the static. But here, since today we are learning the concept of object, now you don't need to write that static thing. Okay, directly you can access these methods using this thing, like these objects. So we'll see these things like in brief in the live session. So yeah, that's all. Thank you, everyone.